If you want to learn how to swing a golf club consistently, I'm going to show you from beginning to the end exactly how to do that here in this video. So this is only for golfers who are serious about improving and don't want to just go and work on their swing and without actually understanding what it is they're working on, trying all these different YouTube tips. This is for golfers who are serious, and we're going to break it down with solid fundamentals and then build the swing that way. So first things first, the fundamentals are key. We have to have solid fundamentals or else you're just building a swing that's never going to be consistent. So the first fundamental, and one of the most important ones, probably the most important one, is your grip, okay? So what we want to see with the grip, I'm just going to get straight into it, is that we have it in the fingers on both hands and we have opposite forces, which is going to help us stabilize that club face. Now the easiest way to do that is to make sure you can hold the club a certain way with the lead hand. So the first thing is that you should be able to, mind the dirty glove, just a lot of practice, you should be able to grip the club like this, right? With the forefinger here, pinching underneath, 3 fingers off, and the club is resting here under this crevice in your hand. It's not up here in the palm. That's when you're going to struggle and you're just going to be very inconsistent with your club face. So you want to be right here, okay? Then you wrap over. And what you can see there is it's quite a strong position. I can see the logo on my glove and I can see 3 knuckles there. Also, I'm going to make sure that this is pinched up against this so that this V shape points up towards the right shoulder. Then when it comes to putting the trail hand on, I always go for the overlap grip because that makes it easy for me to get the hand in a weak enough position so that I do have opposite forces. When you interlock, it's much harder to get this hand over because when people interlock, they really lock it in like that. And then we see that this hand goes strong, so we get 2 strong hands, and that's going to lead to a closed club face bias. So what you want to do is start off like this. So you want to make sure that you have the middle of your fingers running along the back of your grip, okay? It's not in here, it's not in the tips, middle of the fingers, okay? Very simple. And then wrap over. Now what we want to see is that this area of your thumb covers right here, and you get right on top like that. And now I cannot see this thumb because I'm covering it with my right hand, but now I have an opposite forces grip, which is going to be very stable, which is going to allow me to use my wrists correctly in the swing, and it's going to make this control of this club face very, very easy. So that's step number 1. So the second fundamental, which is really important, is our posture and our stance. So what we want to see is that we are not overbending with the knees and getting the back to upright. This makes it very hard to turn and stay in posture during your swing, which is extremely important. If you don't get in posture during your swing, you're just going to be arm dominant, which most of you are, and you're going to struggle to create any sort of consistency because you're always relying on your arms. So what you want to do is try this setup drill. Just start feet together, legs straight, back straight, club out in front like this. Then what we're going to do is just bend from the hip till the club hits the ground. I'm a little bit too close, so I can shuffle back. This also gives you the right distance from the ball, but you should be able to do this between your club and your thighs, okay? If you're in too close, you're going to struggle. Another good way to tell is that if you stand in posture like this and you take your right hand off, it should dangle right where it should be on the club. If it's there, it's too far away. If it's there, it's too close. So it should dangle right there, okay? So now we've got good posture with the spine. Then from there, what we're going to do is take 2 steps with our feet. Now this is a 6 iron, so I'm going to take 2 good steps. My feet are shoulder width apart, and the ball is just slightly forward in my stance because it's a longer iron. We take those 2 steps, and then all we're going to do is just unlock or soften the knees. We're not going to bend them, we're just going to soften them, okay? And the important thing here is you make sure your balance is running through this area of your foot, not on your heels, because you're going to really struggle with balance. You're probably going to extend forward. And again, the body's not going to work for you. So we've got this balance right here, legs softened. Now the other important thing, and what we see a lot, is people tilt their spine this way, okay? This hip gets quite high, the spine tilts this way, which is always going to lead to this reverse spine angle that you might see a lot of coaches talking about. What you want to do is have the hips level and the spine straight up and down, if not slightly tilted to your right, if you're a right-handed golfer, to your left, if you're a left-handed golfer, essentially away from the target. Not tilting towards the target, tilting away from the target. So right now I'm in a great posture to be able to build a swing where I can use my arms and body together throughout the swing and be consistent, have a consistent swing, consistent ball strike, consistent direction. This is where consistency comes from, getting these fundamentals locked in. So first things first, get your fundamentals locked in before you start working on your swing. All right, so let's get on to the swing. So in this first move in the swing, in the takeaway, what we want to see is that the body and the arms work together. We don't want to be lifting the club off the ground like this, because then when we turn, the club's going to get way behind us. And when it gets behind here, most likely you're going to come over the top, like most golfers do. What you want to see from this position is that the first move is very much the core rotates, the shoulders rotate, but we want to keep the arms and wrists quite relaxed. And as we take that back that way, then we can keep the club outside. So everything's working back together, but we are not picking the club up with the wrists. We're leaving the club on the ground as we rotate back. And that's going to get the club outside. Now the club can be anywhere from here to here, that's okay in the takeaway, but we do not want to be inside, okay? This is probably about as far inside as you want to go. I like to have it a little more outside. I even like to feel that it's outside, just so that I'd resist going inside. So that first move in the takeaway is to make sure that it's very much here, okay? So that's a checkpoint you have to have. I recommend just going, after you've got your setup and you're practicing your takeaway, it's just going here, checking it, and then trying like a little half swing, just to get used to that first move. So you want to really get that part of the swing correct, because it's the start of the swing, and if it goes wrong there, it's most likely going to go wrong somewhere else in the swing. So takeaway is here. So once you've worked on your takeaway and you're happy that it's in this position, you need to be aware of what you want your body to do from there. So obviously the body has started rotating, the hips started working back. From there, right, so this would be takeaway position. From here, we'd want to see that we're able, if you put the club over your shoulders like this, that you're able to rotate the body and have the club pointing down, almost towards the ball line. There's the ball line. I want my shoulder to point down towards that ball line, but I also want it to be slightly behind the ball. I don't want to be over here, because then I'm going this way in the swing. I want it to be here and behind the ball, and you can see that I've stretched my upper body more than my lower body. Now, if you're the kind of person that's going to say, I can't turn like that, unless you have a serious physical injury like a hip replacement or some sort of serious spinal issue, the reason you can't do that is because you're lazy and you do not stretch. If you can't do it, stretch and practice if you want to get better. If you don't want to get better, then this video is not for you, okay? So you've wasted the first few minutes of this video. So we're going to be here in posture, okay? When we do that move, so we have our takeaway and we add that turn, then we're going to be in a position like this. This is a very good position for the swing, okay, for the backswing. This position is going to allow us to do what nobody does, which is start the downswing with the lower body, rotating back with the hips, pressure moving into this foot, and then the core starting to rotate, which is going to keep the club connected, going to keep it inside the golf ball and not coming outside. And what that also is going to do is going to make the hands and arms a lot more passive, so that you're not pulling down with the club. You're here, you're able to use the lower body, you're able to use the core, and you're able to get into a nice impact position, okay? So what's very important is that you're able to get into a great backswing position, everything works back together, and then we rotate up. Perfect, okay? This is the position we want to be in. So from there then, what I would recommend doing is just doing a lot of kind of drills where you take it up to the top and stop. It's going to give you a chance to feel how you need to move in the downswing. So we've got our setup, we've got our first move, and we've got ourselves rotating nice to a good top of backswing position. So what I recommend, as I said, is you stop here, take a second, and what you want to feel from here is that you're able to transfer weight into this foot straight away and rotate through. That's what's going to pull the club through. You don't want to be here trying to go, because you're just going to be chopping wood, and it's not going to be consistent, and it's not going to be fun. So take it up to the top, stop, rotate through. So I'm really just there feeling I'm going here and there. So if we take the club over the shoulders again, there's our top position, here, there. Trust the body. Don't do what everyone does, which is pulling from the top, pulling the arms down, trying to control the shot. I hear so many people say, oh, but I can't do that. And you can't do that is because you don't trust it and you don't practice correctly. So having drills where you actually stop at the top, you can even do one where you shift first. So you can go up, shift, turn. That's going to help you get the body moving the way you want to get it moving. And that's the other thing about practice, is it's not about coming down and just whacking balls trying to find a feel. It's coming here to the range with a goal, with drills, with movements that you're trying to develop into your swing. You don't need to come to the range and win the Masters. No one wins the Masters on the driving range. It's won on the golf course. The range is for crafting your techniques so that when you get on the course, you can trust your swing to deliver the shots that you see on the course. And then it's all about course management and short game. So as I said, let's start from the start. We've got the grip in the fingers, should be able to do that. Then we've got fingers, opposite forces. And we got the setup drill. 2 steps, soften the knees, balance is forward in the foot. We make sure the spine is not tilted this way or tilted back. Rehearse your takeaway, make sure it's outside. And then all you're doing from there is turning and transferring weight. And you're going to get a nice, consistent swing that feels effortless. You're not going to feel tired after a range session because you're not trying to bladder it with your arms. It's going to feel effortless, it's going to feel smooth, and you're going to be able to produce the same movement every single time. But you have to practice with intention to be able to do this, okay? It's not about saying you can't move a certain way or it feels uncomfortable. Of course it feels uncomfortable because you do it wrong. You do it terribly. You've got to be able to get the correct fundamentals, have the right structure, and then work through it. Now, I work with players online. I coach players one-to-one. We also have a community where you can come in. If you don't have the money to pay one-to-one coaching, we have a community which is less than than a sleeve of golf balls, where you can be able to post your swings. I go live there every week and do seminars on the course, on the range. You can post your swings and get them reviewed, as I said, for less than the price of a sleeve of golf balls. However, if you want to really accelerate your game this year and be ready for the summer this year, then one-to-one coaching is the way for you. We have many different options, but what I recommend is getting on a call with me. I do free trial lessons, so you can DM me on Instagram, DM me the words break 80, DM me the word coach, just DM and say you're interested in the free trial lesson. We'll get in touch and we'll get you booked onto that lesson and see if it's something that we can help you with, okay? But as I said, if you don't want to do any of that, you need to focus on your fundamentals, you need to focus on making consistent swing moves, having your body and arms work together, and to be able to produce a consistent swing action.